This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, welcome to CPHR Saskatchewan, our webinar regarding the new CPD requirements and our online reporting system. My name is Holly Gurin and I'm the Professional Standards Manager. So to get going today, if you have two monitors, I ask that you sign on to cphrsk.ca, our website, and it will take you to the home page. Give you a second to do that. And if you want to go over here, and if you haven't logged into our website, it'll say sign in. So click on here. I'm already signed in. And I'm signing in as Nicole Norton Scott today, as my online reporting system shows other information being an administrator that I don't want to show in the webinar. And if you don't sign in at this point in time, when you actually click on the online reporting system, it's going to ask you to sign in before you can actually enter your hours. And then you want to go to CPHR. I am a CPHR. Continuing professional development, and click on that. And it's going to take you to this landing page where there's a number of different links with information regarding the CPD requirements and the online reporting system. So if you click on the first link, for those of you who were CPHRs prior to January 1st, 2019, it's going to show an email that was sent out explaining the new requirements. And for those of you that, under the old system, had your log due either in June or November of 2019 or even 2020, those dates are no longer effective. Everybody is starting fresh as of January 1st, 2019, and we'll all submit our CPD hours. And so looking at the email, I'm not going to go over everything, but highlight some of the changes. So you're now required to have a minimum of 10 CPD hours on an annual basis, and those need to be entered annually. And then you need a minimum of 60 hours during a 3-year rolling calendar. And that's different as well. Before we had the set 3 years, and we only had to worry about getting the 100 CPD hours during that 3 years. Now you have to be aware every year as to how many CPD hours you have. And we always recommend you getting more than the minimum of 10, because if you put it in a certain category, if you're audited, it may be found that those hours aren't best suited in that category. They may be moved to another category where the hours are allotted differently. And in order to get your 60 hours during the 3-year rolling calendar, it's not going to work if you're only getting a minimum of 10 per year. But we do recognize that some years are different than others depending on your work-life balance. So if you scroll down, it goes over the 3-year rolling calendar, how that works. I'm going to go over the example. So for those starting January 1st, 2019, first 3-year rolling period is 2019 to 2021. So January 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2020. So in this situation, member X in 2019 had a minimum of 20 hours. In 2020, they had 30 CPD hours. And then in 2021, they had the minimum requirement of the 10 CPD hours. So in that 3-year rolling calendar, 2019 to 2021, they met the 60 hours. They also met the minimum requirement of having 10 or more per year. The next 3-year rolling calendar is 2020 to 2022. So the 30 hours comes down, the 10 hours comes down, and they needed another 20 hours in order to meet the 60 hours in a 3-year rolling period. And then the third example, January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2023, they already had the 10 hours from 2021. Then they had 20 hours from 2022. And then they only had 20 hours in 2023. So in this example, they met the minimum requirement of 10 per year, but they did not meet the minimum requirement of 60 hours in a 3-year rolling calendar. They only had the 50. And with the online reporting system, you can enter your hours as you as you earn them, I guess, or you can wait till the end of the year. You have until January 15th the following year, but it's recommended that you have them all entered by December 31st of that current year, preferably if you enter them as you go, so then you're not scrambling near the end to remember what you did throughout the year. If for some reason your hours are entered later than January 15th of the following year, there will be a late charge that's going to be implemented in 2021. We're taking the next year just to educate our members on all the different changes. For those of you that are new CPHRs, if you just became a CPHR in 2019, you don't have to start entering your CPD until 2020. Then if you come down to CPD categories, there's a link that's going to take you to the summary of new qualifying activities. So this is a little different than what you're used to. In some categories or subcategories, some have maximums now and some don't. So in professional practice, there is 1A, new projects. It has a maximum of 25 hours per year. And you need to remember to document dates and hours spent on the project. And under some other categories, you need to remember to exclude the social breaks and or meal breaks along with registration. In governance, they used to have a maximum. Now it's based on your actual time contributed. Under 4A, I've had questions regarding instructional hours. How do I know how many instructional hours there are for the class? You can contact the educational institution and they will let you know. It does not include study time and it does not include writing exams. It's strictly based on instructional hours. And where a lot of us get our CPD hours is under 4B, seminars, workshops, webinars, and conferences. And here's where you, again, exclude the registration, social breaks, and meal breaks. And under 4C, self-directed learning, roundtables, non-credit courses, this is where you can get an easy 5 hours per year for doing your readings. Just document what you read and the month and the time spent. For non-credit courses, I've had questions regarding that. If you're not sure, email me, because a lot of times we feel that it should be going under 4B, the seminars, workshops, webinars, and conferences, and you can get more hours there than you can under 4C. So if you're not sure, email me with the specifics where you think it should go, and I will let you know from there. And then under 5, it's based on number of words. So 1,500 words calculated at 3 hours. Anything under that, 1.5 hours for less than 1,500 words. So just become familiar with this document so that you're not surprised when you go to enter your hours and think it used to be under a certain category from previous, and now it's no longer there. So I'll just click back to where all the links are. Again, CPD summary of qualifying activities, which I just went over. There's CPD FAQ. If you have any questions, go through here and see if it's answered. If not, feel free to contact me and we can discuss. And then there's the FAQ for the online reporting system, which I'm not going to click on just yet. If you actually scroll down a little bit further, under helpful forms, there's another document called CPHR CPD hours for accredited partner events. If you click on that, it will show you all the events that CPHR has accredited. And when you're registering for an event, it will have our logo saying that it's CPHR accredited and the number of hours. Sometimes you may get emails from us, from our partners that we haven't accredited the event. We're just sharing information from you, so you'll have to figure out how many hours you may be entitled to if you attend that event. And here's our link to the CPD online reporting system. So if you haven't actually logged into our website and you click on this, it's going to ask you for your login information and your password. So again, I'm signed on as Nicole, and normally you would sign on as yourself, and you're responsible for entering your own information. So if you click on the menu over here, it has a number of different items. The first is the dashboard, which is this. And the dashboard will show you your overall progress. And so once you start entering your hours, because we just started this in 2019, it will only show you your 2019 hours. Then it'll show you the current year. So when we get to 2020, you would click on this, and 2019 will show up, and then 2020 will show in the current year. And then under our input history, as you enter your events, it will show you the last 4 events that you entered. If you want to see all of them, you would click on View Full History. And we'll come back to that once I've entered some information. And you can also enter your hours from here. There's 2 ways you can enter your hours, from here and then when we go back to the menu. And if you wanted to print your dashboard, you can click on that and print it. And then there's the declaration, which is also under the menu. So there's a couple different ways you can access that. So going back to the menu, click on that. If you click on CPD requirements, it's going to go over what we had previously discussed, what the minimum requirements are. So a minimum of 10 per year and a minimum of 60 during that 3-year rolling calendar. That hours must be submitted on an annual basis, and that you must have your hours in at least 2 categories over the rolling 3-year period. And the annual category can be 1. And then if you click on this link, it's going to take you back to our CPD page on our website. And if you want more information regarding the functional competencies, you can click on either one of these links. And if you need a leave of absence, you can click on that under a menu, and it will direct you back to our website and explain what's needed for a leave of absence and what documentation is required. So previously, we used to extend the 3-year time frame. Now what we're doing is granting exemption hours during that 3-year calendar. So then if you click back, it'll take you to the online reporting system. And here's the other way that you can declare. It talks about the audit and how 3% of submissions will be audited. And keep your documentation for 18 months following your annual CPD submission. So from January 1st to December 31st, 2019, retain the documentation until June 30th, 2021. And when you've entered all of your CPD hours, you need to declare and click on these boxes and then click submit, and you'll get a message that you've declared. So that needs to be done annually. And then if you go back to the menu and click on help, there's some short video clips showing you how to use the system. So we've got using the menu. And the video clips are, maybe a couple minutes long each. How to submit hours. Viewing your hours. Printing your hours. Editing and deleting your hours. The declaration. And then the link back to the FAQ. And we ask if you're having any issues with the system, please contact us. You can either call the office or email us at info@cphrsk.ca. And if possible, provide a screenshot so we can kind of take a look at what's going on so we can better assist you. If not, that's okay. Just give us detailed information as to what's happening. I'm going to click back on the dashboard. Then I'm going to click on the menu. So you can see here, I can enter hours by clicking here, or from the dashboard over here. The same as the declaration, like I mentioned before, from the dashboard here, or under the menu here. So while I'm here, I will click on Enter Hours. And we'll go under Professional Practice. And under Professional Practice, there's just New Projects, so I'll click on that. And it'll show you the maximum hours per year that you can have. And I'm just going to make up some information. You, of course, will enter the actual information. So let's say I started this project back in February. Now I clicked on February 1st, but it'll just show up for this category as the month and the year. And let's say I finished the project today. And I'll just enter the fields. So there's information in it. If you don't enter information, when you go to submit the hours, it will pop up that you need to enter information. And explain how this is new to you. And pick which functional competency that it falls under. So in this situation, I'm going to click on Professional Practice. And again, remember, it has a maximum of 25 hours, but click how many hours you actually spent on the project. So as an example, I'm going to say 30 hours because I want to show you what happens. And you can either hit Submit and return to the dashboard or Submit and create another. So I'm going to click on Submit and create another. And it's showing me here that I exceeded the subcategory by 5 hours. So the additional hours don't count to my overall total. And when we go to show you reports later, I'll show you where that appears. But that's okay. I'm going to keep it as 30 and click on Submit and create another. And it'll show hours logged. And again, I'm not going to enter information for every subcategory, but just some of the key ones. So if you're a mentor or mentee with CPHR Canada or an academic institute, you can pick here. I'm going to say it ended again here. The frequency of meetings, so I'm going to say once per month. Length of meetings, 1 hour. And you would enter whatever it was you did. And then choose which competency it is. In this example, I'm going to click on engagement. And so if you look from January 2019 to November 2019, 1 meeting per month at 1 hour, that would be 11 hours. So I'll put in 11. And in this case, I'm going to click on Submit and Return to Dashboard instead. And because there's a maximum, it's going to show that I went over by 1 hour, but that's okay. So then click on Submit and Return to Dashboard again. And here it will show how many hours we've entered so far. So we did the professional practice, the new project, and then we did the mentorship. And you can see that it grabbed the maximum here. Whereas your hour input history over here, you entered 11 and you entered 30 hours. I should say I entered 30 hours. If you click on View Full History, it will show you all the categories. And it will show that information has been entered in 2 categories so far. You can click Expand All and watch the time frame that you're looking for. So we're in 2019, we're just looking for now. Later on in 2020, you may want to know from January 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2020, how many hours you have. And so here it will show you that you received 25 hours credit, but 30 hours were entered. So it's grabbing the 25 hours here. And if you scroll further down, entered hours under leadership as a mentor, 11 hours were entered. There's a maximum of 10. And so you receive 10 hours credit, which is reflected in the category. And we haven't entered hours in any of the others, so it'll show 0. And then we can go back to the menu. We can go back to enter hours. So we'll go to governance. We'll go to board service. The board service used to have a maximum. It doesn't anymore. So we had a meeting January 2nd for 2 hours. February 5th, we had one for 5 hours. And so on and so forth. And then I'm going to pick total rewards for this one. And so far I just have the 7 hours, so I would enter 7. I'll click on submit and create another. Again, it showed hours logged. Now we'll go into the learning category, and this is where most of us get our CPD hours. So some of you are taking university or college classes. So you would enter information here. I'm not going to do it right now, but there's no limit on it. So again, if you're not sure how many instructional hours, contact the Institute and they'll let you know. So just to show you, if I click on submit and create another, it's not going to let me do anything because I haven't entered any information. So I'm just going to go back and go into enter hours, go back to learning, and this subcategory, seminars, workshops, webinars, and conferences, is where most of us get the bulk of our hours. And there's no limit here. So let's say I took a course on November 5th. Course was from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You exclude the registration, social breaks, and meal breaks. So let's say that was, when I exclude all those, it was 6.5 hours total. I'm going to say it was for labor and employee relations. I enter 6.5 hours. And again, I'm going to click on submit and return to dashboard. And I didn't fill out this field. And of course, your information is going to be way better than mine. So far, looking at what we've done, 25 hours in professional practice, 10 hours in leadership, 7 hours in governance, and 6.5 hours in learning. So that's your overall progress, which for this year, it's going to be exactly the same in the current year because we're just in 1 year. And then again, it'll show you the 4 events that you've listed to date. You can click on view full histories to see additional ones. So we're going to go back and enter more hours. I'm going to go to self-directed learning. And there's a maximum of 5 hours here. So again, this is the subcategory where it's easy to get 5 hours per year. Let's say I read the HR reporter, August, September, October editions, read the leader, I need to give more information for that, and then I'm going to put professional practice and say that's 5 hours. Now I can go back for each one and enter, if I went to a round table, non-credit courses, knowledge sharing, and professional networking. So again, non-credit courses, we're finding they best fit under 4B. So let us know, and we can discuss that with you. But you would get more hours if you're putting it under 4B. So I'm going to click on submit and create another. And then go over to research and publication. We're going to click on HR or business related book review. Let's say I did this back in April. And let's say it was 3,000 words. And that equals 6 hours. And we'll say it was about human resource metrics, reporting, and financial management. And then I enter 6 hours. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. So looking at overall progress, you can see that I've entered something in every category. Total of 59.5 hours for the year, so I have more than met the minimum of 10 CPD hours. And you can click on View Full History, or you can click on Print Hours. I'm going to click on View Full History, and it shows 5 categories I've entered information, and it shows the start and end date. And then I'm going to click on Expand All so I can see what I've entered. If you need to go in and make a change, let's say I realized I forgot to add a meeting here, you can go in and click the I, and that will show you what information was entered. You could print it off individually if you wanted. I'm going to go edit it, and I'm going to say that in March, I did another 3 hours. And then I'm going to update my total to 10 hours and click Update. Or if I click back on Expand All, I can go in and delete an entry if I need to. And then you can come back and collapse all if you wish. I recommend that you save your information, so you can click on Print. It saves in the system, but just so if you want a paper document or to save it in a folder at work or home, you can save it as a PDF. It'll show you the date range, how many hours, everything that you saw in the system. And then you can save it as a PDF. I'm going to hit Cancel. I'm going to go back to the dashboard and print the dashboard, like I mentioned before. It'll show you the current year that it's going to print. It doesn't show you the input history, but you can get that when you're printing the full report. I'm going to go back to enter hours. And under Learning, under Seminars and Workshops, depending on what kind of conference you go to, you may find that it covers more than one competency. So if you want, you can break out each session and indicate which competency it falls under, and then how many hours for that session, like 1 or 1.5 as an example. And then I've entered all my hours. So I would go through and click off all of these boxes. So I declare that it's an accurate record of my CPD activities. I will provide further documentation on request by CPHR Saskatchewan. and I understand that any misrepresentation by me regarding my CPD activities or in any documentation I provide will be sufficient cause for revocation of my designation and termination of my membership. And then you would click on Submit. Now, I did notice when I was going through some of the reports as the administrator that some people, I'm just going to go back to enter hours. Some people under learning, under seminars and workshops, weren't deducting the or excluding the registration and the meal breaks and the social breaks. So if that applies to you, please go through and update your information. So for example, somebody would put 8 hours. Well, more than likely in that 8 hours there was a break, so you need to go through and update that information. As well, I did see some that entered some mentorship information. So that's under 2D. And they entered hours, it may have started in 2018, ended in 2019, but some hours from 2018 were included. Those need to be deducted. It's only hours from 2019 that can be included. So if that applies to you, please go back in and update your log. Sorry, we're not calling it a log anymore. Update the online reporting system. And now I'm going to go back to the help. And I'm going to scroll down to the FAQ. It will take us back to the CPD landing page, and then I'm going to click on Online Reporting System FAQ. And this is being updated as we get questions or we think of questions that our members will have. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them with you. One that we get a fair bit is, can my assistant enter my information for me? No, as a professional member, you're responsible to enter your own information as you're declaring the information is accurate and that you understand that any misrepresentation by you regarding your activities or in any documentation provided will be sufficient cause for revocation of your designation and termination of your membership. This is your designation, not your assistant's, so we want you to enter the information. Can I enter hours into future years? We're saying no, please wait until you've completed the activity to enter the information. So you may have an activity that starts in 2019, say a project as an example, and ends in 2020. Enter the information in 2020 and your hours will be given credit for 2020. Some of you may be interested in knowing what your initial rolling 3-year start date is, and you can go on the website as long as you're logged in, and it will show you if you follow these steps here. I entered my information, but it does not show why. If you don't hit submit, either one or two of those options, it will not enter the information. And if you leave it sitting there for a period of time and have not clicked on submit, the information will not show. So at your leisure, just go through this document. And that pretty much covers the webinar. If I have missed anything and you still have questions, please contact me. Sorry about that. That's why I didn't want to stay. So you can contact me at hgurin@cphrsk.ca or at 306-242-4505. Thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of your day.